Sarel Gaur MD. Let's talk about teleradiology. So I've had some exposure to teleradiology, working for a group and working for a national corporation, and just want to tell you a little bit about it. So teleradiology is fun. Teleradiology is really fun. Teleradiology is you're working at home. You got the home court advantage. If you're scheduled to work at say 2 o'clock in the afternoon, you can wake up at 1:55 and you can be at work at 2 p.m. You can spend the morning at the gym. Basically, you can do whatever you want, but basically getting to work is not an issue. You're not putting on a suit and tie. You're basically whatever you want to wear to work is up to you. As long as you get in front of that station and start reading cases at the scheduled time, you're doing your job. You're actually doing a great job at your job. I think teleradiology is especially good if you have a family. Let's say you recently had a baby. You're going to have a babysitter or a nanny. But if you want to check in on the baby throughout the course of the day, you at least have that flexibility as a teleradiologist. One thing about teleradiology I didn't think about was you actually save a ton of money. Think about if you are commuting. Let's say you're in a city like Los Angeles or New York, and you're commuting about an hour each way to work. That's 2 hours per day that you're just throwing away. Basically, radiologists make a pretty good amount per hour. So for 2 hours of every day that you're working, let's say you're working about 17 days a month, 2 hours of those days, you are basically not getting compensated, but you're still doing something. You're basically getting to work. So that's 34 hours a month. If you multiply that by the hourly rate for a radiologist, that's actually a significant chunk of change, about 30% potentially of your gross salary. And that's actually money that you're just leaving on the table if you're not a teleradiologist. So I think especially if you're living in a city like LA or New York where there's a lot of traffic, it especially makes sense to be a teleradiologist because basically you get to carve back that time to use it either for income or whatever you want, whether it's doing things at home, helping out around the house, or just doing other things that you enjoy. It's a way for you to kind of take back that time. So one thing about teleradiology that you got to know up front is you get paid per case. The amount that you get paid per case really depends. It depends on the type of outfit that you're working for. If you're working for a large corporation, it's going to be kind of on the lower end, again, per case. If you're working for, say, a national government entity, it's going to be a little higher per case. You can actually set your own rates. Let's say you decide to just open up your own teleradiology company. You can decide what you're going to charge, as long as it probably has to be within line of other groups. You could offer teleradiology services to a local group and see what they do. They might offer you potentially even a salary, but typically it's going to be pay per case. Again, that's going to affect different people differently. Some people are okay with that. If you're the type of person that likes to just show up at 8 and read at your own pace, and then at 5 o'clock you leave, teleradiology is not going to work out for you. Teleradiology is kind of, it's up to you. Typically, people are a little driven. They're kind of motivated individuals, and they basically figure out the system. They figure out the game. The way teleradiology works is basically you earn as many cases as you read, and you have to figure out a way to read cases efficiently. You can actually get really good. You can get very efficient and productive, and you can take care of a lot of patients. ER cases, the main cases to really know well are things like CT head, CT pulmonary angiogram, CT abdomen pelvis, ultrasound of the abdomen and ultrasound of the pelvis, the female pelvis, chest x-rays. These are studies that you see a lot of in ER imaging and urgent care imaging. And if you get very fast and good at reading these, you can command a very decent paycheck, and you can also help out a lot of patients while also doing a very efficient job reading all out of your own home. One thing that has occurred over the years, as a lot of non-physicians have started to practice medicine, especially in ER and urgent care settings, is, as we all know, the number of normal studies has increased. So overall, this kind of seems like a bad thing, but actually for teleradiologists, it's sort of a good thing. If you can get really good at identifying those normal cases and basically identifying them as normal, putting them to the side, spending your time on the pathology, putting that to the forefront, contacting clinicians and referring physicians about what's going on with the sick patients, you can become a very efficient, talented teleradiologist and, again, do very well financially. I think teleradiology is a huge perk of being a radiologist. You can use all your skills. You can do it from home. Some people, it's kind of what they want is to work from home. They want to work on their own time. They want to have their own setup. And this is exactly what you can do with a career in teleradiology. It does have its downsides. You do get paid per case. The amount that you can get paid could be less, but you can also kind of work with that and modify that, again, to match your expectations. I do think you save a lot of time, especially if you would otherwise be commuting. And again, I think it's a great option. I think it's something to definitely check out. And there you go, teleradiology. Sarel Gaur MD.